Material basically works in the function of, depends on what liquid you are pumping. Mainly, if it's clear water, you can use stainless steel. But if you are pumping chemicals and things like sewer, you need something that is stronger, like stainless steel, or sometimes you can use bronze instead of cast iron.
Hello Zimbabwe, welcome to Farming 263. My name is Deidre Mgaza and today we're at Cochrane Pump Zimbabwe Private Limited, where we are going to learn a lot about pumps. And to those who want to buy pumps on their farm, this is the episode to watch, so stay tuned and we are going to hear more. So we're now joined by one of the members of Cochrane Pumps and we're going to hear a lot more about the company and the services that they offer. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thanks. My name is Godwin Mrambiwa. I'm the managing of Cochrane Pump Zimbabwe, a company that started operating in 1983.
That's a long back.
Yes, it's a while back. So this company was born out of, just to give you a background, essentially Cochrane Engineering, our sister company that made boilers. They were making boiler feed pumps, but over the years the products that we actually manufacture, unlike a lot of people, we manufacture pumps locally in Zimbabwe, and the pump is actually called a Cochrane pump. So from as far back as 1989, which is when I joined this company, maybe that's why I'm managing director now.
Yeah, definitely.
We used to import, a lot of the parts that we put together using pumps. But over the years, we have localized. I think now we are sitting at about 95% local. The only things that we bring in are obviously the bearings and the stainless steel shafting that we put pumps together. So essentially, a lot of the irrigation schemes that started in Zimbabwe, they do have Cochrane pump. We used to be called Stork because Cochrane pump was born out of Stork, which used to be a Dutch company that we used to deal with back in the day. So over the years, Stork then sold off to Johnson, and Johnson then sold off to SPX, who are Americans. But in between that time, we have managed to localize, especially the end suction pumps that are used for irrigation. So a lot of our farmers, whether they have center pivots, whether they are just moving water domestically from a reservoir up to a tank, or whether they want to irrigate, we do those pumps. Incidentally, we are the only company that I know of, that have got a single impeller pump that is locally designed, that is a Cochrane pump, that can pump to heads of close on 18 bar, which is 180 meters. So if you could imagine from here where we are sitting, you could pump beyond Southerton Police Station and National Breweries.
That's a long distance.
That's a long distance. So because we are a local pump manufacturer, we pride ourselves in the fact that we are a Zimbabwean company. In the past, we have exported pumps to Zambia, Malawi, sometimes to South Africa, but closer to home, a lot of our farmers, in terms of if you want to get a reliable pump, our warranty is 2 years. Unlike a lot of people that give you a year's warranty, and these pumps, they don't break up. They are robust pumps that you can put out in the field. If you have a C-frame motor, even in this rain, if you didn't have a shade, our pumps will just be able to run. So as far as the staff complement that we have, we were working out between myself, of course, who's involved in sales, our sales manager, and our sales team, between us, we are looking at about 180 years experience in terms of pumping experience. So we can design pumps, we can design irrigation schemes, and we can also help farmers that just have a piece of land and they are going to start to pump. So that's how diverse we are, that's how experienced we are, and we have been doing this continuously since 1983. But I think in 1989, I would say that's when we started, and we had a vision that the pump manufacturing industry had to localize, because back then in 1989 we used to bring whole pumps and we used to wait up to 6 months for the pumps to get here. So that spurred us to ensure that the pumps that we were doing were local.
Okay, looking at the brief background that you have given us, you mentioned about being a Cochrane Engineering being your sister company, and that brought to the emergence of Cochrane Pumps, isn't it?
Yes.
So I would like to ask you a question on what made you think about, okay, let's have Cochrane Pumps before you started the importation of these pumps. What gap did you see that made you start this Cochrane Pump company?
Well, initially when our sister company Cochrane Engineering started back then, the core business of theirs was making boilers. And if you look on any boiler, there are 2 pumps. So before that, we used to import all those pumps, from people that are opposition now, like KSB and all the other makes that are there. And essentially, when we started, those are the pumps that we used to bring in, which were boiler feed pumps, industrial pumps. If you were pumping very, very high temperature liquids. From then the boiler feed, that's when the diversification came, because the agricultural industry, as you know, I'm thinking back in 1997, 1998, as a company, we were selling up to 1,000 units in a month. And those 1,000 units, I would say 70% were going local. And the other ones, we're exporting to Malawi, Kenya, Zambia. So there was always that push, to push us to the agricultural sector, which for us, even up to now, we operate and deal with guys like Zinwa, who provide water services to all the places. Some of the municipalities, like the big ones, we also deal with them, because those kinds of pumps. So I think that motivation has always been there, to do that. And obviously, my bosses that were here before I came, when they interviewed me for the first time back in the day for the job, they thought that this particular job that we are doing is not just a job. They looked at it as a career, because if you think about it, you need to move water.
Yeah,
and you need pumps to move water. So whether it's domestic, whether it's farming, whether it's mine dewatering, because there's a lot of water underground, pumps really play a key role in as far as how we live as human beings.
Okay, so in the process you mentioned about cutting costs in terms of reducing importation and making it a localized business. So in this, I would like to ask how you are inputting small-scale holders in your pumping system.
So in terms of anyone that is starting in farming, we have small size units, which are either petrol driven, where you are using a petrol engine, or diesel driven. Then if someone was starting and they also had a small tractor, you know, not the big ones, we've also got pumps that are tractor driven, so off the PTO of the pump, you know, you can irrigate. The gears ratio and everything that we have there will run at 3,600, for example. So in terms of your small farmer, that's how we've tried to stay real. And these pumps that we are talking about, you know, we are talking about portable pumps that, you know, after irrigating a piece of land, you then carry it and then you store it somewhere where you can lock it up. So depending on how big you are, so they, you know, they keep getting bigger. So the bigger they are, the more you have to make sure that they are secured in the field. You know, if you are small and you are starting, you can carry this pump and you can irrigate whatever corner of the field that you are doing. So in terms of the environment per se, we are always you know, trying to stay ahead. But in this part of the world that we are, I'm assuming that is what a lot of your local people would be able to get. A person would be able to have access to petrol, especially if you are going to use it in this instance, or diesel, or the tractor. The treadle pump, you know, which is an old way technology of pumping, which a lot of people might not know, is you have a system where you have got a pedal, and then when you pedal, that pedaling that you are doing generates a system. You know, we also used to do that particular pumping. That's where we started. Now we don't do that anymore. Yeah, we also think that maybe you know, it's not the best way to have humans doing that kind of thing. So in as far as that is concerned, I'm sure people are still selling treadle pumps. So in terms of where we are going and what we need to do, we go across the board from your smallest farmer to your biggest farmer. Your biggest farmers are the ones with the center pivots, and then we know how those systems are efficient.
Okay. Also, we were talking about warranty in your pumping system, and in inclusion of the small-scale farmers, those who are starting in the business of agriculture. How then do you accommodate in terms of cost efficient of your pumps? Okay.
So yeah. So in terms of warranty, we are very open. If anything has broken down, all warranties, obviously, they are tenable at our factory, because you know, we have the equipment you know, to pull pumps apart, and then the customer can come in and we're able to troubleshoot from the beginning. So whether if the pump had no water, or if there was a bolt that was loose, you know, with our experience that I said we are then able to you know, to help a lot of people. So in terms of warranty and in terms of backing up equipment, I think you know, I can safely say we've got one of the best and fairest systems you know, to help you know, even the smallest farmer, because you know, they are all valuable to us, whether they've bought something for $200 or they've bought something for $2,000. As far as we are concerned, you know, all customers are king.
Okay, so you mentioned about pumps, or talking about pumps. So are you the ones that manufacture these pumps, or you have another company that does it for you and just sell them?
Okay, so a lot of the pumps that we use for irrigation, you know, like I said, the Cochrane pump, we manufacture those locally, and we have been manufacturing them locally since 1989. You know, and like I said, we are around about 95-98%. And the reason why we say that is that all bearings are imported, and you can't get shafting steel. You know, although you can get it locally, but everybody else brings it in. So that's where we are. The bigger boiler feed pumps that I spoke about, we also manufacture those locally. There are pumps that we represent, which are very popular with people, whether it's municipal, whether it's in agriculture. We also represent a company called Cochrane Pumps in South Africa. Although we can repair, service, and do things on their pumps, they manufacture them in South Africa. And then we also represent, you know, bigger companies where if you wanted to hire a pump, you can come to us. You can hire a pump, we'll give you a cost. It comes on a trolley with wheels. You hire it, and you know, you also go away. We also represent flight pumps, which are big, you know, dewatering submersible pumps. So in terms of pumping solutions, we do have them. But what we then tend to do, you know, is to push our local product, which makes sense. Where our local product ends, that's why we've got all these other supporting products that we, you know, that we represent. We back them up, and the warranties are a year. But if you take one of our pumps, the warranty is 2 years. So in terms of what we do, I think what is best is, you know, for us, if we go through our workshop, and then, you know, we can show you, you know, how everything is done and where everything is, you know, so that our viewers can see what Cochrane Pump do.
Thank you very much, and I think you viewers are so eager to go to the workshop. So we're going to go to the workshop and see what the service that they have to offer and the type of pumps that they produce. So let's go to the workshop. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
So we're now at the workshop, and we're going to learn more about the pumps. So before we go into the pumps, can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hello viewers, I'm Kudzanai Marwa. I'm the production manager here at Cochrane Pump Zimbabwe, and currently we are in our workshop where all the assembling and magic happens.
So I would like you to tell our viewers the type of pumps that you have, what they are used for, and how one buys a pump. Because there are some cases where someone just comes and says, I want a 10 horsepower pump,
okay,
but without knowledge of how they work.
Okay. Yeah. For example, this is a 65-250 pump. We use this mainly for our irrigation purposes and your pumping of water into buildings and the likes. Okay. Yes.
So how many liters does it pump per hour?
That now depends on your power supply from your electric motor. So depending on your demand, or should I say what you want to use the pump for, you will choose your motor according to what you want to use it for. Depending on your head, whether you want to do irrigation, you want to pump it to the building, the distance you want to push the water from the source of the water to the final destination. Then we pick an electric motor for you, and if need be, we trim the impeller to suit your specification.
Oh, I see. That's really insightful. And this one?
This is a stainless steel pump. This we mainly use for pumping chemicals, because stainless steel can withstand the properties of different chemicals. So our pump, we won't suffer much wear and tear because it's stainless steel. Yes. Okay.
So the material that you are using at this pump, is it the same material that
this is stainless steel. This one is cast iron.
Okay.
With a cast iron impeller, but we can also use a bronze impeller and a bronze gland if the need arises.
So what is the significance of material, if I may ask?
Material basically works in the function of, depends on what liquid you are pumping. Mainly, if it's clear water, you can use stainless steel. But if you are pumping chemicals and things like sewer, you need something that is stronger, like stainless steel, or sometimes you can use bronze instead of cast iron, because this fades away and gets chewed up by corrosion quicker than stainless steel. Okay. Yes. Okay,
Mr. Kudze, I've seen that you have explained about the pumps, but let's take, for instance, I'm a farmer who has come to you and I tell you that I have a certain kind of land that I have and I'm looking for a pump to buy from you. Okay. How do you recommend all of that?
Well, first step, the first thing we'll ask you is what your source of water is. Is it a river? Is it a borehole? Is it a well? Is it a dam? That's the first thing we'll ask you. Secondly, we need to know what your landscape is like. Is it uphill, downhill? Is it flat land? Or are they hills here and there? Then we can determine the distance, work out the actual distance from the water to the pump. Then from the pump to the field. We also need to know how many sprinklers you want to run on that particular project you are running. And the size of the land in general, we need to know that before we can pick the right pump for your specification.
Okay, so I would like to ask also a question. Let's say, for instance, I am a farmer, but I don't have the information that you're saying right now to tell you this is the kind of land that I have. Do you offer services that you can go to my land, to my farm, and then tell me, okay, so this is how your land is like, and then you are now recommending the pump?
Yes, that's a good question. Yes, we do offer that service. If you're not sure of what the questions we'll ask you, the technical questions, we do make a site visit, and we go on site with you. We look at your land, we make a rough sketch, and we do the right thing for you.
Okay, I see. Then we have issues about, like, you've installed the right pump for me and I'm now running my irrigation system, yes, or my chemigation, just depends on what I'm doing. There are then situations where due to time of use, my pump is undergoing wear and tear. Yes. Do you come and do maybe after service repairs or?
Yes, we do offer after sales service. When you buy the pump initially, if you have issues or you don't know how to install your pump, we come to site, do the installation for you, and as we go along, during the course of you running your pump, during that period, be it a year, 5 years, we do make call-up visits to your farm and make sure the pump is in right order. If you need us to do a service, we do the service on site and leave your pump in working condition.
Thank you very much. And I still have a question that I need you to ask. I need to ask you about our small-scale farmers.
Yes,
like,
yes.
how do your services provide to them?
And yes, we've got a big pump, or should I say big pumps on display. Yeah. But we do have smaller ranges of pumps that suit the smaller scale farmers. So we have everything for everyone. It's a one-stop shop, if I can say that.
Definitely, that's really nice. You have not explained this one. I wanted to ask what it is.
These are the different components of our pumps on this bench as we speak.
Okay.
So before we start, the first step of assembling a pump is you need to take your shaft. This is what we call the shaft. And you fit the shaft with 2 bearings. After fitting the 2 bearings, you go and insert the shaft and bearings into the bearing frame. From the bearing frame, then you come to your back plate. This is what we call a black plate. So this then fits onto our bearing assembly. And from the bearing assembly, we fit your impeller onto the shaft. This is an impeller. This is what pumps your water and gives you all the pressure that you require. After that, then you conclude building the pump with your volute casing. And your pump is complete. Then we spray paint after assembling the pump, and it's ready for delivery to our customer.
So, do you have another company that does your pumps, or are you the ones that manufacture these pumps? We
are the sole manufacturer of stock pumps in Zimbabwe. This is our brand, solely Zimbabwe.
Oh, I see. That's really nice. So I'm seeing that we have many movable parts in our pumps. That is the rotating shaft, and also a lot of moving parts. So I wanted to ask, in terms of friction, like, in as much as you are going to come and offer services, how does a farmer maintain also on their side?
Right. In that respect, when you buy your pump, we have certain knowledge that we impart to our customer on how to install the pump and how to run it efficiently without any issues. Because yes, there will be issues here and there, but after we impart that knowledge to you, you should be able to run your pump successfully with no problems.
Thank you very much for telling us your types of pump that you have. But do you have any other services that you offer?
Yes, in terms of services, we offer a lot of services. We're not just specializing in our brand, which is stock. We also do an array and different range of all sorts of pumps. We do KSB, we do Grundfos. We can basically repair and supply and maintain any pump you can come up with. We also do for the mining sector, the industrial sector, the sewer systems and the likes. So we're not just based on farming or on stock pumps. We do any type of pump and any range of pumps.
So anything to do with
anything to do with pumps, anything in the pumping industry, we do.
So we have come back from the workshop and we have seen all the kinds of pumps that they have in their workshop, and now I want to ask you, where can we find you?
So Cochrane Pump Zimbabwe is located in Willowvale, number 19 Tilbury Road. That's where our factory is. In as far as where we are found all over the country, we've got very established businesses in Bulawayo, where we are represented by Waterlink. In the Eastern Highlands in Mutare, we've also got people that that represent us. Obviously, without their permission, I can't, but they would be our agents. But Waterlink is, are the main people that, if you wanted any help with our pump in Bulawayo, you can then go. So our factory here in Willowvale, is also capable of testing pumps, and I think what I would like to urge, a lot of the farmers, a lot of people that are pumping in Zimbabwe, is that in terms of pumping, there's no shortcuts. There are a lot of companies, that sell pumps. If you are buying a pump and it's lasting you less than 12 months, and then you have to buy another one, if you look at the cost that you are losing, you're actually losing a lot more. So we are saying that we're a local company. Our pumps are guaranteed for 2 years. We know for a fact that a lot of the pumps that are out there, we normally get them after 4 years. So people need to remember that in terms of your yield, in terms of everything that is coming out of the ground, if it's not efficient and it starts with your pump, then it is not worth doing. So I would like to urge people out there to look for people that have your interests at heart. And then we are going to have a lot more successful farmers than we have at the moment, and we are also going to encourage a lot more of our young people to go into farming. So there are no short corners in terms of irrigating efficiently and getting a higher yield at the end of the day.
Okay, I would also want to ask on the pumping system that is it only limited to like crop production, or it can also be used in livestock production also in terms of water pumping?
In terms of water pumping, so whether you are wanting to clean anything high pressure, so whether it's the actual kettle that you want to clean, or whether you want to clean your pens, whether you want to clean your crawl, we do have pumps for whatever you want to move water with, on a farm, on a small holding, or if you are talking about industrial. So we cover a very diverse range in terms of moving water, and that's what Cochrane Pump do. We don't pretend to do other things. We don't sell sprinklers, we don't sell pipes, we just sell pumps. That's what we do, our daily bread and butter.
Definitely. So we have come to the end of our show, and we have heard a lot about Cochrane Pump, and I am encouraging you guys to go buy a pump from a trusted source so that you can know and get efficient services. And before we end the show, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us and hit that notification button. Thank you.